Imagine a world where celebrity status doesn't sit in a driveway. It floats in a harbor with 80 years of maritime history polished into every teak plank. Where restored 1930s racing yachts cost more than beachfront estates and vintage wooden hulls require crews of craftsmen just to maintain. These aren't just boats, they're floating monuments to wealth, taste, and an obsession with craftsmanship that modern shipyards simply can't replicate. Stay until the end, because the #1 spot isn't just expensive. It's maritime royalty with a wartime past. So let's start with number 10 on our list. Johnny Depp doesn't do subtle, and his WWII proves it. Valued around $18 million, this 156-foot custom motor sailor was built by Turkish shipyard Protection in 2007, but everything about its design screams vintage elegance. Below deck sit twin Caterpillar diesel engines producing around 2,000 horsepower combined. Cruise speed hovers around 12 knots with a range stretching past 3,000 nautical miles. Not a racing yacht pace, transatlantic crossing pace. The interior features dark mahogany paneling, oriental rugs, and a master suite that looks lifted from a 19th century Parisian apartment. Depp reportedly spent years customizing every detail, from the vintage furniture to the hand-painted ceilings. If you're picturing the actor stepping off a tender in Venice looking like he belongs in a different century, you're probably not far off. But don't get too comfortable, because the next yacht doesn't just look vintage. It actually sailed through the jazz age. Number 9 belongs to Italian fashion icon Roberto Cavalli. His yacht Freedom, valued around $20 million, started life in 1928 as a classic gentleman's cruiser. The hull stretches 133 feet of polished mahogany and brass fittings that predate the Great Depression. Power comes from restored period engines, pushing the vessel to about 10 knots at cruise. That's not trying to outrun anything, that's trying to arrive in style. The restoration alone reportedly took 5 years and cost nearly as much as the original purchase. Cavalli filled the interior with leopard print upholstery and gold accents because subtlety was never really his thing, was it? Freedom has cruised the Mediterranean for decades, turning heads in Monaco and Portofino harbors, where modern superyachts simply can't compete with that kind of heritage. But while Cavalli chose roaring 20s glamour, the next owner went back even further. Number 8 takes us to J.K. Rowling, who reportedly owns Amphitrite, a vintage sailing yacht valued around $22 million. This 156-foot vessel was originally built in 1887 and has been meticulously restored to preserve its 19th century character. Under sail, it moves with the kind of grace that modern fiberglass hulls can only imitate. The wooden masts tower above the deck, and the brass hardware has been polished by over a century of ocean crossings. Rowling apparently uses it for private family cruises around the Scottish coast and Greek islands. If you've ever wondered what sailing felt like before engines existed, this vessel answers that question. No rushing, no roaring diesels, just wind, water, and craftsmanship that survived 2 world wars. Speaking of sailing, the next yacht makes Amphitrite look almost modest. Number 7 belongs to Richard Branson. His connection to the sailing catamaran Douce France puts him in rare company. This 138-foot vessel valued north of $25 million, was once the largest sailing catamaran in the world. Twin hulls slice through water with minimal resistance, and the sail area stretches massive enough to power the yacht past 15 knots in favorable conditions. Auxiliary engines provide backup, but the real magic happens under canvas. The interior blends classic yacht styling with modern amenities, and the deck space rivals small hotel terraces. Branson has famously hosted everyone from business partners to royalty aboard this vessel. There's something deeply satisfying about a billionaire choosing wind power over diesel, isn't there? But Douce France has another celebrity connection that adds a layer of musical history. Number 6 brings us to the late David Bowie, who also chartered and considered purchasing Douce France during the 1990s. While Bowie never completed the acquisition, his time aboard the vessel influenced his creative work and cemented his reputation as someone who appreciated craftsmanship over flash. Bowie understood that vintage yachts aren't about impressing marina neighbors. They're about experiencing the ocean the way sailors did before GPS and satellite phones. That philosophy shows in his broader collection of interests, from classic cars to antique instruments. And if Bowie's approach feels contemplative, the next owner brings something entirely different: raw competitive energy. Number 5 belongs to Tiger Woods. His yacht Privacy, valued at $20 million, stretches 155 feet of classic sport fishing yacht design. Power comes from twin MTU diesel engines, producing over 2,000 horsepower combined, pushing the hull to speeds above 18 knots. That's serious pace for a vessel this size. The name says everything about why Woods chose it. After years of tabloid scrutiny, he wanted a floating sanctuary where paparazzi couldn't follow. The design echoes classic American sport fishing yachts from the golden era, with a rakish bow and a stern designed for serious offshore fishing. Woods has been photographed landing marlin and tuna from the aft deck, treating the yacht like the working vessel it was designed to be. And while Privacy focuses on function, the next entry prioritizes pure racing heritage. Number 4 takes us to fashion legend Valentino. His yacht TM Blue One, valued somewhere around $35 million, carries design DNA from the 1930s racing yachts. The 152-foot vessel features a hull optimized for speed and a profile that looks fast, even while at anchor. Twin diesel engines produce around 3,000 horsepower, pushing cruise speeds past 14 knots with a range exceeding 4,000 nautical miles. Valentino reportedly spent years working with naval architects to ensure the restoration honored the original racing yacht aesthetic while adding modern stabilization systems. The interior features his signature red accents against cream upholstery, and the teak decks have been replaced plank by plank using traditional methods. If yacht restoration were an Olympic sport, this vessel would medal. Number 3 belongs to Eric Clapton. His yacht Verbena, valued around $40 million, represents classic Bonetti craftsmanship from an era when Italian shipyards built vessels by hand. The 156-foot hull features sweeping lines that modern computer-designed yachts simply cannot replicate. Power comes from twin Caterpillar diesels, producing roughly 3,200 horsepower combined. Cruise speed sits around 12 knots with a range approaching 3,500 nautical miles. Clapton has owned the vessel for decades, cruising the Caribbean and Mediterranean while famously playing guitar on the aft deck during sunset. There's something poetic about a musician choosing a yacht built with the same attention to detail as a vintage Gibson guitar. Number 2 takes us to the late Paul Allen, whose maritime collection included several vintage and historically significant yachts. His flagship Tatoosh, valued around $100 million, stretches 303 feet and features classic mega yacht proportions with a 1990s build date that now qualifies as vintage in super yacht terms. The vessel includes a recording studio where Allen jammed with fellow musicians, a submarine bay, and enough teak decking to cover a basketball court. Allen also owned interests in historic sailing vessels and restoration projects, understanding that maritime heritage deserves preservation. And now, number 1. This spot belongs to a yacht so rare that its provenance alone doubles the price tag. The Christina O, currently owned by a private family, but previously the floating palace of Aristotle Onassis, sits valued around $70 million for charter purposes, with full purchase estimates reaching well beyond $100 million. This 325-foot vessel was converted from a World War II Canadian frigate and has hosted Winston Churchill, Marilyn Monroe, and Jackie Kennedy. The bar stools are covered in whale foreskin. The swimming pool converts into a dance floor. Every inch screams mid-century excess preserved in floating amber. So if you made it to number 1, you clearly appreciate more than just luxury. You appreciate vessels with history and craftsmanship. Tell me in the comments, would you choose a racing yacht, a wooden motor sailor, or a converted warship? And if maritime heritage like this fascinates you, hit subscribe, because next we're diving into the most expensive yacht restorations ever attempted.